Hello, I'm Dr. Prelip here with an overview of the learning narrative for our WRA 101 course. What exactly is the learning narrative? Ultimately, the learning narrative is a story about something you've learned, a hobby, sport, music, reading, writing, cooking, etc., or about a lesson you've learned such as teamwork or perseverance. As the written project description asks, what are the spaces and places where we learn? What do we learn? How do we learn these things? Who can teach us? Why are these lessons, this learning, important in these spaces and places and elsewhere? Where else do we use this learning? How and why? You won't answer all of those questions in your narrative, but they're questions to get you started. Let's go over some definitions and concepts that will help guide our project. First, Sean Wilson in his book Research as Ceremony says there are 3 types of stories. There are the sacred stories, those stories that are part of our culture and that mostly stay within that space. There are stories with morals or lessons. Think Aesop's fables, many religious texts such as biblical parables. There are also stories about personal experiences to help guide and teach you. That's probably where your narrative will fall. Place and space, a couple more concepts. These come from Des Certeau, and it's a simplification here of his ideas. But place, think of it as the physical places where we interact and learn and live, whereas spaces are where we find our meaning or our purpose within those places. For example, you are at MSU, a physical place, but there are buildings for classrooms, dorms, sports, recreation, eating, etc. These are some of the many places of MSU. Where do you feel most like yourself? Where do you fit in or belong? This is your space. A space might be a place, but it might also be a group of people or a club or a certain class where you feel a sense of comfort or belonging. Did you ever wonder how it is we imagine the world in the way we do? How it is we imagine ourselves if not through our stories? Thomas King, The Truth About Stories, and one of my favorite books. Please take a few minutes to watch this TED Talk. The URL is listed. What I love about this TED Talk, Adichie explains how the stories we tell ourselves affect the way we view the world. After watching the video, think about it. What is a single story you've heard or told yourself? How do we tell stories? We'll be going over this narrative arc, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and conclusion in more detail in the coming weeks. If you want to get a head start, check out the Elements of Story slideshow referenced here. So what exactly do you have to do? Let's go through the components of this project. Your project. You have a couple of options here. You can do a written project of 1,000 to 1,200 words in length, or you can do an audio recording of about 3 to 5 minutes. You should have that beginning, the middle, with some evidence to actually support your ideas in an end. You can find additional information in the written overview and on the checklist in D2L. Please email me with questions or set up an appointment during office hours. You can even earn your Habits of Mind Engagement Award for attending a non-required office hours appointment. Plus, I really like chatting with students.